can't stay in one place more than 4 years.
And there's a lot of benefits to being close to home. You know, I wish I could go home on the weekends and see my family at times.
It's kind of hard because I'm half Thai and half American, so I never feel like I really belong to one country or the other, so that's kind of hard.
I've had rifles pointed at me.
I would cry myself to sleep every night thinking of my friends and that I'd left.
The place that I was born, the place that I've lived the longest, the place where my family is now, the place where I moved to school from. They're all different places.
My worldview is so much broader than some people.
And one of the things my parents told me whenever we came back was they told us we were green, which means that we were the blue of one country and the yellow of another country, and you put them together and you get green.
I'm so used to packing a bag, it's not even funny.
What is an MK? People just don't know.
Hiraeth, the longing for home, a place that you have lost. This word perfectly describes how a missionary kid, or MK, feels as they leave the country where they grew up and come back to America for various reasons. Missionary kids grow up with a whole different set of cultural rules than American kids. When MKs re-enter American society for college or for a visit, they are thrown into culture shock. They sometimes find themselves misunderstood as they struggle to learn a whole new way of life in the U.S.
I remember growing up and having the fear of coming to the States, just changing to a different culture, different atmosphere.
Well, I was scared about school and not fitting in because I was homeschooled. So I was definitely worried about the whole thing that people talk about just not fitting in and people looking at me as if I was a foreigner, and
Just the normal fears of like, will I make new friends?
And so there was frustration because I was leaving everything that I knew and my home and my friends.
I remembered what it was like before I went to Peru and just the cruelness of middle schoolers, or just everything like that, and just fearing not fitting in somewhere.
Will there be sports? Just stuff like that for me.
also I think I was just scared about the fact that I might not ever go back overseas, and at least to my same village.
You know, that I would just be so different that nobody would be able to understand me, and I would have to like pretend to be something else or somebody else that I wasn't.
I had a couple of fears. They were mostly around whether or not I was going to fit in with the people in America, because I didn't really understand American culture as well as I understood the culture I grew up in.
I also think I was really scared about just how I would keep up with family, because my family isn't here.
I think my main worry was that I wouldn't fit in with the kids here.
I was a little nervous being on my own for the first time, because up until my whole life I had never been away from my parents more than a week.
I mean, I was scared because I knew it was going to be so different. And I think what scared me the most was that I wouldn't have like anybody to understand and anybody that I could confide in.
Fears surface because MKs are used to the culture they have grown up in. As little kids, they at times did not realize that they would ever leave the place they knew as home. Others knew from a young age that eventually they would move.
Oh, I've never considered that I would come back to America apart from coming back for college. I guess that kind of crossed my mind, but since I was still younger, it seemed like forever.
I remember several times I challenged my parents, especially during school, when I said, I'm going to be a Mandinka. I don't need to be in school. This is dumb. And I didn't say dumb because that was a bad word at the time. But I said, this is silly. I'm not doing this. I'm going to be a Mandinka. I'm going to farm the rest of my life.
I always knew that I was going to come back to the States for college, mostly because I knew that I was going to learn in English for college, and so I wasn't planning on going to Thai University.
When I was really young, it kind of was, we didn't even remember a time when we lived in America. And so it was, America was the vacation spot. America was not a place to live.
Definitely say that when I was younger, I was convinced that France was going to be my home and I wasn't going to leave. I fit into the culture. If I asked anyone of my friends, like they would never guess that I was American.
At that point, I did want to just live there forever, and then I realized that I was going to leave.
I thought for a long time that I was going to go back when I grew up, you know. I was like, I'm going to live there, go back. It'll be fine. I'll die there when I'm older.
One of the questions that MKs get a lot is, where is home, or where are you from? It is one of the most difficult to answer. Home is not always a place for an MK. It can be an elusive concept for some. Others have just lived in too many places to easily offer an answer.
That's my least favorite question ever.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, when people ask, where are you from, there's always a pause, and it's like, well.
I hate that question.
Home. Home. Home is wherever I'm with you. Okay, sorry. Cut that out.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I have really an answer to that question.
I don't know. I don't feel like I have a home.
Right now it's Bruce Hall. Wherever I put my head is really where my home is.
I think personally, home, I call both countries home. It's hard to really separate one from the other at this point.
Home is Marseille. Home is, by the beach, 5 minutes away from the beach.
For me, home is where my friends are and where my family is and where I feel that I don't have to try to be myself. Like I can just go, and it doesn't matter if I want to, like, where I can just be myself completely. So right now that's, in Kondern, Germany.
My parents are in Africa. My older brother's in Spain. My nephew's in Spain. My little brother's in Virginia. My grandparents are in Winsboro, wherever the heck that is. I'm in Greenville. I don't know where I'm from.
I would say home is in my town, Puerto Varas, Chile, and that I consider that my hometown.
I don't know, see, it's moved around so much. I feel like home is wherever I can be with my family. I wouldn't say it's a specific place, just like family and friends, that is home to me.
Though as I've grown up and been able to live in many different places, realizing that my home is where the Lord is.
I still say Central Asia, but as I'm here in the States longer, I'm finding out that just as I've started to make more friends, I'm starting to consider school home, but then home is also where family is. So I really don't have a place where I consider like a steadfast home. It's more like 3 different places.
I couldn't really choose between Peru or the United States if I tried, because they both kind of don't feel like home completely.
Bangkok. When I was in Thailand, I always said, Atlanta, Georgia is my home. Yeah, I was born there. I'm an American girl. I grew up in America. But no, I lived here for 1.5 years of my life. So it's definitely not home.
I guess for me right now, home is school. That's kind of just where my deepest relationships are, apart from my family and the people that I'm around the most, and just kind of been really blessed to just build like a really, really good life here.
Where is home? All the answers vary. Once people know that MKs grew up overseas, questions begin to fly, and stereotyping begins to happen.
They'll be like, oh, whoops, you're an MK, I probably shouldn't say that word, or you're an MK, you won't understand what this means. You're an MK, I probably shouldn't even be acting like this in front of you.
For me, it's like, can you say something? Can you speak to me in German? And like, for me, it's like, I kind of, like, it's so hard to, like, just come up with something to say off the top of my head.
People would say, did you grow up in a hut, or did you ride camels to school every day?
As soon as they hear that I'm an MK, then they kind of get a little bit standoffish and like, oh, like, am I gonna get a disease or something from talking to you?
Yeah, I've definitely run into stereotypes. There was this one time we were at this church, we were speaking, and I heard some guy behind me, and they were talking about maybe coming and talking to me. They're like, maybe we should talk to that MK girl. And then I heard the other guy say, no, she'll be all Christian and stuff. And I was like, I'm just a person. I'm not like an icon or anything. I'm just a teenager. So that really hurt.
Especially here, I'm automatically the goody person. I don't do anything wrong. I walk on water.
Yes, I don't like it when they just assume that we've lived in the most harsh environment.
So, and people always assume that if you're an MK, then you're definitely gonna want to go back overseas.
For me, it was just like, no, I lived in a city, and they had all these preconceived ideas. And
I guess I don't like it when they ask me if I've eaten bugs.
So people on, like, that's another stereotype thing. Like, I lived in cities all the time. But then I said, I lived in Africa. And then they say, oh, so did you eat grubs and stay in a hut? No.
How many languages do you speak? I always feel like I'm boring because I only know 2 languages, English and another one. So I'm like, man, I don't know like 4 languages or anything like some people.
Do French people smell? Or, and I'm like, no. Like,
The most common question is, do they eat chili and chili? Because I guess that's what people think when they think of chili, which they do not. Chili is a very American dish.
They think, oh, he's from Germany, so he's automatically, he's different, and it's not. There's nothing different. It's exactly the same. We're the same person. We're still at college together. And
Do you ride a camel to school? And I'm like, I was homeschooled.
I guess there haven't been too many, but one of the questions I get was, did I live in a cardboard box? Yeah, I don't know why, but they would ask me that. And they also asked if I ate cat and dog. I got that one a lot.
People think it's really original to ask me if I'm African American.
are you that picky about your food? Yes.
And then this one girl, she asked me why I didn't have a different accent. She was like, why do you have an American accent? And I was like, well, I'm American. But she just couldn't understand that.
Oftentimes, like, Americans think that French are snobs, and I can be picky about certain things and snobby about certain things, but I feel like I'm overall like a nice person, I guess, kind person.
I was talking to someone about the Berlin Wall, or living in Berlin, or like going to Berlin, which is one of my favorite cities. And she was like, "Wait, isn't the Berlin Wall in China?" And I was just like, "That's terrible!" Like, absolutely. I was really angry.
People are surprised with how I react to different things, and because it's not the way that Mother Teresa would react, and people expect that out of me.
Do I shave? Yes. Do women shave in France? Or like tons of stereotypes like that, like really random ones.
Especially like people are surprised I can't play basketball because I can't jump. I'm like, aren't you black or aren't you African?
My family may not have had air conditioner for a short amount of time. It was like that's our life. It wasn't like, oh my goodness, we lived in grass huts, we rode elephants. It was just, that's life.
Many people think that being a missionary kid and living overseas is an exotic lifestyle. They glorify the experience in their minds and fail to realize the hard part of it. Homesickness is one of the emotions that can and does plague MKs, and people don't know just how tough this emotion is to deal with for a missionary kid.
I know recently I was really homesick for overseas, and so I just went back and looked over years and years and years of pictures from there and just kind of relived my life, like over the little different memories, and talking about it is so helpful.
I missed my friends there, but now they're all in different parts, so it's not like something I can go back to because everyone's grown up.
At first I kind of just retreated into being by myself a lot more, but then after a while I began to, talking about it with other people, being like, do you want to hear about my home? Let me tell you about my home. Like,
my family and I are really, really close, and so I was homesick the minute they left.
I mean, of course I miss my parents. I miss my friends over in Africa.
It's been really hard being back this long. because I haven't gotten to see my home there for years, and it never really, whenever we left, felt like I wouldn't get to go back.
It definitely has gotten less, and I think I've learned to deal with it better.
Skype and Facebook help. Like, probably the only thing I really miss the most is, I guess, my family. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes.
I remember one time I was walking out of the caf and I smelled some like burning grass or something, and I was like, oh, that makes me miss Africa so much, because that's such just a smell that we smell all the time over there.
It gets less, but like I feel like everyone's homesick at some point, even if you live 45 minutes away.
And over the years, there's certain things that bring memories, different smells, different sounds, and so I've learned to be thankful for those memories and to be excited to think of home.
One of the things is hoping that one day I'll get to go back, but knowing that God has me here for a reason certainly helps me work through that.
I spend a lot more time in prayer, and then I spend a lot more time reading my Bible when those times where I just feel really homesick.
This one freshman year, this one girl asked me something about, and I ended up showing her all the pictures I had on my computer of where I'm from, and she kind of was like, wow, this is kind of cool to see all your pictures. And I was like, wow, you make me feel so much better. Just, remembering that is where, where I grew up, and reminding myself that really helped.
Dealing with homesickness is just one challenge that MKs face. Another part of an MK's life is dealing with change and transition. Saying goodbyes, hello, making new friends, adapting to new cultures, and being flexible are all part of living overseas. MKs figure out how to handle change and transition a lot earlier in life than most people.
I feel like my parents, our mission worked with military people, and so all my friends were moving every 3 years. And so while I wasn't moving, everyone that I knew was.
I always feel like I deal with it pretty well, but sometimes I don't allow myself to grieve the transitions.
I don't like change at all. Whenever we first moved overseas, my mom said I was probably almost one at this point. We were packing to go overseas, and my mom said I would come around the corner at night just to make sure they were still there. I would get out of bed and I would come around the corner and make sure they were still there.
I've traveled and moved so many times. I've never lived in one house more than, I think, 4 years. So it's just, I'm used to change.
Yeah, I just feel like I'm used to moving and not settling down anywhere. Nowhere's permanent, so I don't get that attached to the place.
Be like, oh, I'll be fine. I've done this a billion times, and then I'm like, oh, I'm not fine. Why am I not fine? So that sometimes can be an issue.
They're like, yeah, we've been friends for 7-8 years. I've never had a friendship like that where I've been friends with someone for 7 or 8 years.
New freshes, new starts are hard for me. Just because I like deep relationships. I look for deep friendships, and I get attached to the location where I live, and so it's difficult for me. I would definitely say it's challenging to just move from place to place.
So I'm not a changed person. I went through this huge point in my life where I would not spend the night at people's houses because I wanted to be with my family. I think transition is a big thing for me. It wasn't easy on me, but if I have my family, it makes all the difference. As long as I knew that my family was there and that we were together, it made a huge difference. So it means a lot to me, and that helps me through transition.
The challenges do not end once an MK has begun to fit into a new place, however. Because of where they grew up, who their parents are, and what their parents do, people tend to put them on a pedestal. Outsiders looking in expect MKs to be mega Christians, and most MKs do not always appreciate their elevated status.
As an MK, and also as a former pastor's kid, I was sort of expected to be holier than most kids or something like that. Nobody said it to me, but I could feel the expectation around me.
There's definitely kind of oh, your parents were missionaries, does that make you more spiritual or something? Or because your parents were missionaries, this makes you more understanding of other people's situations or something. But a lot of times, the situations that people think I should understand, I've never even come across with, because they're American scenarios. They're not Central Asian scenarios.
I was one of my senior year of high school, I was just I have such a high expectation, And if I screw up, it's going to reflect badly on my dad.
When I first came to this school, I love this school, but it was really funny because I felt like the MKs were basically superheroes here. And there's nothing wrong with admiring the missionary task, but I just felt like we were treated as if we were incredibly sacrificial and just heroes, but we were really just kids who went to other countries. And
I just felt that I was supposed to be better. I was supposed to live up to that expectation.
Just trying to figure out, like, it doesn't matter, like, I'm just like any other kid, and it's kind of I can't attain that expectation. I can't fulfill that expectation because I'm human and I'm sinful and I screw up. And so I feel like I feel like definitely I am I feel like I've been put on a pedestal, but it's my own doing. Like, my parents didn't do it, but it's just kind of in my mind, like, oh gosh, like.
Especially in a Christian environment like North Greenville, we are put on a pedestal because we are the super Christians.
People automatically assume that I'm, the strongest believer, and that I know the Bible word for word. And
They do it, I guess they do it in churches a lot because they automatically see you as like what every Christian should be kind of person. But what the truth is that we're all missionaries, obviously, wherever we are.
I think often MKs are stereotyped as being the spiritual ones. And that's what I don't like, because it's all about our own personal, individual relationship with God. It's not about what our parents do that will cause us to be different.
Being a missionary kid does not always mean that, you're going to follow the Lord, because that depends on your faith and your individual faith in that.
I definitely would say that it is challenging, especially when you come back and you're on furlough and you go around from church to church and you go to Sunday school and you've the impression that people think you're some angel and you know everything about the Bible, which is false. There's always room to grow. And
A vast majority of MKs return to the U.S. for post-high school education. Also, it is the passport country of a lot of MKs, and where their parents grew up. However, MKs do not always consider themselves American.
No, I consider myself like a foreigner when I'm here and a foreigner when I'm there. So I guess I'm like half American or a third American.
everyone in South America gets mad when you're like, I'm an American. They're like, you're not an American. I'm an American too.
Yeah, not completely. I do have a different view about certain things. People are all like America and stuff and I'm definitely somewhat like that.
Define American.
I think having been back in the States for 8 years now, it's easier to see myself as an American. But then half of me still feels like I'm overseas.
No? Not really. I don't know what I am.
No, I do not. I actually consider myself European, because Chile has such a strong influence of Germans. In the southern part, a lot of Germans have settled there.
I consider myself a German and an American. It just kind of depends. I can put both hats on whenever I need to.
I don't know, I'd say I look American, but my heart is half and half.
I look American, I sound American, but I would definitely say that like my heart and my culture is French.
I guess I consider myself like I'm from America, well, in like the loosest sense of the word from. Like, that's where my passport says I'm from.
I would consider myself, I don't know, just a sojourner, as some people would say.
I don't know. I don't know. Sure. Yes.
Growing up in a different culture is extremely rewarding, as most MKs will tell you. It is a life that they would not go back and change for anything. Missionary kids may be the label the world gives them, but being an MK can be described in so many other ways.
It's gonna be a little bit like cheesy, but it's awesome.
We are one fabric, but we have like all the different cultures and all the different people and all the different experiences that are like dyeing us, and so it kind of makes a cool pattern, but it's like way different from every other one. Like every MK is so different.
Amazing. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I love just the experiences that it's given me to just be able to share with people.
There's so many things that I've gotten to do and so many people that I've gotten to know, and just like so many experiences that I've had that like I wouldn't trade for the world.
It's special because I do have a different worldview and a different global perspective.
You never stop being an MK because you have that experience at whenever point in your life, and it never goes away.
I've seen so many beautiful places, and the only reason I saw them was because I had the opportunity as an MK.
Being able to connect with my family in a deeper way, and then being able to connect with people who are just worlds and worlds away, and then at the same time being able to connect people here with the people that I know there through sharing their stories.
It's something that I would never exchange, and never for any amount of money or anything. I would never exchange it for anything. It's just been a great experience all around. And
Each day is a challenge, but through patience and perseverance, the obstacles are overcome and MKs acclimate to their new surroundings. The journey is never easy. It is filled with moments of tears, but also of laughter. This journey spans the globe, defies borders, etches memories in hearts forever, and bonds friendships over miles. MK stories are written in different languages, drafted in various geographical locations, and stand much change and stress, but all come together at the end of the day to create one harmonious adventure.
I just think I've been so blessed with the life that I've gotten to have, and so that's probably the one word, like, it's just a blessing that I get to be an MK and that I get to, live the life that I live.
La 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 la. If every day is just a dream, then who would I wanna be? Today I think I'll be the queen, flying through a time machine. Oh my, discover what's deep inside. Oh my, loving everything I find. La 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 la. Oh oh oh. La 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 la. If I woke up in a sky of blue, wondered what I ought to do. Every second there's something so brand new. So happy I'm breaking through.